because my God, it is some of the most painful thoughts ever. And people need to know that it does get better. It really, really does.
It does.
I had to just let you know and show you my support, man, because you're hitting me at home right here.
Yeah, John, I appreciate it, man.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was the hardest time of my life. Once I was telling my mom some of the things, because I didn't. Well, I told her about both sets of intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And my family was really worried about it. But once I told my family, some of the things I was thinking about, they, demanded I take a leave of absence. He said, basically, you're coming home. You're coming home right now. And thankfully, I went to school in my hometown. So she just picked me up.
Yeah.
Got on a leave of absence, and I mean, just as the first statement, it was the best thing that I could have ever done. Even though I wasn't really planning for it, but I agree with you, John. It was. I'm glad we made the move at that time. It was, really eye opening. I initially didn't get a therapist just out of the stigma that my parents had around mental health. I communicated that I think I should probably get a therapist to my parents, and they were really concerned that I would have something on my record, or that would hinder me some way in the future going to a mental health a mental health professional. And this is just a stigma that surrounds mental health, especially in every community, but especially in the Black community and people of color. So this is something I had to work through. I eventually, convinced my parents, or just kind of decided to get a therapist. And it was, hands down the other best decision I could have ever made. Within this time, I received talk therapy. He taught me many techniques to calm myself, so that I can address some of the intrusive thoughts, as well as the underlying deep-rooted insecurities that might be inspiring the anxiety a little bit more. So I addressed all those things in therapy. He encouraged me to, my therapist sort of encouraged me to start treating myself better. So I started exercising, started eating better, really started doing a lot of independent research as to how I can become a healthier person. And my therapist also encouraged me to, continue making music, and that really said that I could process my emotions in a healthy way. If I, talk about my emotions in a healthy way, this creative outlet can help with my disorder. So I continued making music, producing music and writing music. When I came back to school, which was thankfully the next semester, I started working on just different creative ways to promote mental health awareness. This was something that I didn't know about, wasn't raised with the understanding of. We didn't engage with the topic outside of a comedic sense, talking about mental health. But I really thought that other people should hear my story, hear a message promoting mental health awareness, and I decided to do that through music. So that's really how I got to the point I am now. I released that album. I released the album called Carnegie Cafe.
I love that.
Yeah.
Carnegie Cafe.
Yeah, Carnegie Cafe. Yeah, it was actually a restaurant on campus. So it's definitely a slight ode to Carnegie Mellon. I got a lot of love for Carnegie Mellon, but this story was really about just college and